to NSP Sports. And the NSP Sports, I think this is an article from Matt Miyoko. Is that who it is? Yeah, it's Matt Miyoko, who thinks that these are good fits for the San Francisco 49ers. So this is a very respected 49ers insider that knows a lot about the 49ers, and his opinion is actually very valuable. I know I criticized his mock draft recently. If you guys have seen it, he has us taking Tyler Warren at the 11th pick. I think it's a terrible idea. We'll see as it goes. Maybe his mock draft will change, but I was not happy with his mock draft. Let's see what his top 5 trade destinations for Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel. Pa! All right, okay. All right, so number 1 team, according to Matt Miyoko, is Buffalo Bills. This is what he has to say. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see what he has to say here. So you guys can kind of read it too. Josh Allen isn't surrounded by many offensive playmakers, making Samuel a good fit because of the ability to help as a receiver and rusher. Opposing defenses cannot play a steady diet on man coverage against Buffalo. If defenders are running with their backs turned, it opens a huge lanes for Allen to run. He has rushed for more than 1,055 yards and 27 touchdowns over the past 2 seasons, a lot of last year. Samuel's best against zone coverages, and that is a good fit for the Bills' need for their offense. Slot receiver Khalil Shakir caught 76 passes for 821 yards last season. Their next best wide receiver was Matt Collins, who had 31 receptions for 378 yards and 5 touchdowns. So they could use a playmaker, maybe somebody who needs a new scenery. I do think Buffalo Bills would be good for him. I do like this fit. However, I don't like the idea of helping out an actual Super Bowl contender. Just because of his diva-ness, and you're kind of catering to that, I think, and I don't like that. So I don't know. I really don't know who's on the rest of this list, but I do not like the idea of sending to the Buffalo Bills just because of the Super Bowl contender of it all. If I was the Buffalo Bills, I'd be open to it. If I can't, I would much rather try to get Devontae Adams if I could. I'd much rather try to get Cooper Kupp if I could, but if I couldn't land those guys, maybe I'd be interested in Deebo Samuel if I was Buffalo Bills. Next up, you got the Los Angeles Chargers as a possible option. The 49ers might be reluctant to send Samuel to Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers, but if that's the best deal available, that's the move they should be made. I have no problem with it. The Chargers will look to add to their group of wide receivers this offseason. Rookie Ladd McConkey was a fine selection in the 2024 NFL Draft as he caught 82 passes for 1,149 yards and 7 touchdowns. Offensive coordinator Greg Roman is a master at designing the run game, and there's an opportunity to get some production for Samuel in that area too. That's actually a good point. Greg Roman is more of a run game guy. We're all familiar with him from the 49ers when he was with Jim Harbaugh, and he was our offensive coordinator with Kaepernick, etc. I do think it's a great fit for Deebo. I mean, he wouldn't have to go very far moving wise. It would help out Justin Herbert a little bit. I don't believe in the Chargers. I know Jim Harbaugh is a phenomenal coach, and if he can get Justin Herbert to the Super Bowl, it would possibly be him. But I still don't believe in the Chargers. Just for some reason, you call me a Justin Herbert hater. Okay, call me a hater, all right? But I just don't believe in Justin Herbert, and that's just me. Greg Roman is a running back kind of type guy. He's a run game type guy. So this would be a great fit for the Chargers. If I'm the 49ers, I wouldn't even mind sending him to the Chargers, right? But I do know that there's some animosity with Jed York and Jim Harbaugh. So maybe Jed York's like, we're not doing any business with that motherfucker. That's a possibility, but if that's not the case, then I think that's a great spot for Deebo Samuel trading to the Chargers. I like the idea. Heck, maybe you take Deebo and we get Joey Bosa off your hands. Just saying. Washington Commanders. The 12-5 Commanders arrived sooner than expected, led by quarterback Jaden Daniels, who won NFL Rookie of the Year. And the Washington made noise in postseason with 45-31 dismantling the top seed Detroit Lions in the second round of the playoffs. There would be no pressure on Samuel to be the number 1 wide receiver, and frankly, those days are gone. Couldn't agree more. Washington has explosive Terry McLaurin and caught 82 passes for 1,096 yards and 13 tutties. The unknown general manager, Adam Peters. Did you say the unknown? Oh, okay. Never mind. The unknown is general manager Adam Peters. He was part of the 49ers personnel. As I said, we all know who that guy is. 49ers personnel department that brought Samuel to the club in 2019. He has been with Samuel every step of the way. It's difficult to determine at this point whether that makes the Commanders more or less inclined to pursue him. That is a good point. Was Adam Peters actually a big fan of him? Was he impressed with him? Was he part of one of the reasons why Samuel came to the 49ers in 2019? We don't really know. I heard more that it was more of a Kyle Shanahan gem than an Adam Peters gem, because it usually tends to come out sometimes. But, I mean, it would be familiar, right? It would be somebody that the 49ers have connections with, someone Kyle Shanahan speak to someone he's familiar with, be like, hey, man, we like Samuel. We want to send him somewhere, we respect. And we all know that Kyle and Deebo have a respect for each other. They like each other. They're friends, actually, in the end. So maybe Kyle's like, okay, I'll scratch your back and send you somewhere you actually like, which I think the Commanders would be a great fit. I think it'd be a good spot. I mean, they obviously already have their wide receiver in Terry McLaurin. They're working with that. They just need more of a bulldozing, jet sweep kind of type guy. And Deebo Samuel could be that dude. And Terry McLaurin, though, has shown that he can handle he could do screens, et cetera, right? But I don't think I've seen many jet sweeps, and I think that's something that maybe the Commanders can get out of Deebo Samuel in the end. Maybe that's a possibility. I like the idea of him going to the Commanders. I mean, especially if Kyle Shanahan still respects Deebo, and I'm willing to bank on it that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are still friends with Adam Peters. So maybe that's actually a really good potential opportunity there. But if I'm Adam Peters, though, I would not. There's nothing on my team I want to give up, right? I mean, I just built my team. There's nothing to give up to get Deebo. I just think that it'd just be hard to get rid of him because, like I said, you might as well trade him until after June 1st. You got to trade him after June 1st. If it's just a 5th or 6th rounder, wait until after June 1st and get that next year. No one's going to cry just because, oh my God, you traded him before June 1st. You should have took that cap hit and that 5th round draft pick. Fuck that. Not worth it. Wait until June 1st and get a 5th round draft pick for the next draft. Way more suitable for the 49ers. Pittsburgh Steelers. A year ago, the Steelers wanted Brandon Ayuk. However, they did not have a player to send back to the 49ers, which would have made it okay for them to part ways with their top wide receiver. The 49ers worked out a long-term extension with Ayuk for better or worse. I don't like how you word that. It's kind of fucked up. I mean, give the guy a chance, man. There was some drama, and this year he can redeem himself. Samuel is now available, and the 49ers appear prepared to move on for financial and performance reasons. If Samuel does not want to remain with San Francisco, which is clear, there's no reason for the franchise should want to keep him. The Steelers have to figure out their quarterback situation. Regardless of the answer at that spot, they need help at wide receiver too. Well, here's the thing, man. He's not really a wide receiver. He's way more of a emergency running back, kick returner, punt returner. He's an excellent punt returner, excellent kick returner. I'll give him that, right? And a jet sweep guy and a screen guy, but he's not your man beater. He can't do that. Pause. If you got him, I guess, but you need a wide receiver. The Steelers need a bona fide wide receiver across from Pickens. They don't need a gadget guy, but I do like the fact of trading him there just because it's the AFC, someone we don't have to deal with just in case he wants to get revenge and has one of the greatest seasons ever because he wants to prove the 49ers wrong. And we all know that having a chip on your shoulder is the greatest motivation ever. And I want him to have that motivation somewhere in the AFC. So I don't mind the Steelers. I really don't. I also don't believe in the Steelers. I really don't. I wouldn't mind trading for that. But if I was the Steelers, I would be looking at other wide receivers, not Deebo Samuel, just because he's not the guy that's you need across from Pickens. Great fit for the 49ers, but I don't think it's a great fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers, in my opinion. Houston Texans. The Texans were not shy about acquiring wide receiver Stephon Diggs a year ago. However, they did not give Diggs a new contract, which means he is set to hit the open market as an unrestricted free agent. Houston needs more help for the quarterback CJ Stroud, and coach D'Amico Ryans knows how Samuel, at his best, is game-changing talent and a tone setter. The Texans will not have to pay a steep price to Samuel, and he should be ultra-motivated to help his new team and earn another contract. Oh, yeah, and the 49ers are on the Texans' schedule in 2025, too. So, no, I don't want to send him somewhere where we're going to play him again. That's not somewhere I want to do. And, again, if we were to trade him to the Texans, I like D'Amico. If you are D'Amico and you love Samuel, still believe in Samuel, you could be like, hey, I don't remember who the GM is for the Texans. I can't really think on top of my head. I think it's still that ex-Patriots guy. Can't think of his name. And I think he's still in charge of all the personnel and et cetera. So maybe D'Amico Ryans be like, hey, I believe this guy. I could use him really well. I know how to work with him and et cetera. Maybe that's a possibility. But I mean, setting to a team that you're end up playing later on in the year, I don't like that. I really am not interested in that. It'll make for great TV because when you're watching 49ers versus Texans, as you're watching, your eyes are going to be glued to the TV waiting for Samuel to get the ball. There's incentive, you want to see it, but you also don't want him to get revenge on your team. That's not something you want to see. So as for the Texans, maybe it's a good fit. I do think it's a good fit for the Texans. They do need more weapons, and Samuel will work hard, especially since D'Amico Ryans knows him well, his familiarity. So if you wanted to trade for him, that would be a good spot for him. But as a 49ers fan, I would not want to trade him there just because we do play that team. And that's my only main reason I want to do that. But in the end, if there's no other suitors and we get a 5th or 7th round pick, between a 5th to 7th round pick next year for the guy after June 1st, whatever. I would be all for it. So if I was the Texans, I'd be open to it. If I'm the 49ers, like, let me see if I can send it to somebody else. If not, I guess I'll send it to the Texans. That is the top 5 trade destinations, according to Matt Maiocco, 49ers insider of the San Francisco 49ers. I like them all for the most part because they do actually make sense. I think that's actually a really good article. I think he made some really good arguments for those teams. So shout out to Matt Maiocco for making a good article and a good situation there because those do seem realistic. Those actually do seem like real opportunities.